My 2024 was a big time failure. While I live by the age-old creed that you no excuses, you play like a champ, I do have an oddball thing or two to caveat to the reasons why it didn't go so well for me. As you can guess, this was my first year doing YouTube, and this video is more of a I intend to do better come 2025, and this is more of a don't be so hard on yourself video I need for me later on down the road. I'm going to need that. It's going to be a thing. Well, anyways, so like starting off in 2024, I actually uploaded. I'm not going to say the schedule I wanted. My original goal was a video every 2 weeks, which I thought was probably not crazy. And then when I figured out editing is not my strong suit, but something I had to learn. I basically had to learn while doing. And the only editor I'd ever used before that was Windows Movie Maker, which is now Clipchamp, which is now different in every way. Not bad, just different. So anyways, that was a hurdle I had to overcome really quickly, and I think I'm figuring it out. At least now I think I'm doing a lot better. You'll probably see the very big production value difference between, hell, even my video in May to now. So anyways, let's talk about it. So after figuring out I didn't have the editing chops that I thought editing was a lot easier. To all the people who have ever edited and think that's what's up, editing to me is a lot harder than working on a car. So if you're an editor who thinks working on a car is hard, we're just the yin and the yang of each other. Anywho, moving on. You're not here because you want to hear that. So I changed it to upload consistently. Just keep something going, keep it moving. Try to keep something educational, because that was the original goal, was something educational. And you know, just do a better video every time, which worked out quite well because I mean, I thought I was doing better each time. So I started off and things moved smoothly for me until I started hitting bumps, and every guy who's ever modified a car is ever going to tell you, or not even really like complicated mods, just like any mod that is not off the shelf at AutoZone is probably going to feel like this, in which I ran into a case of oddball crap happened. Like, for instance, the piston rings and bearings on the for the M54, because when I got it, I'm like, I'm just gonna tear it down, because let's be real, people were wanting, at the time I bought the engine 2021, people were still wanting a ridiculous amount of money for those engines. I think like the best price I was gonna get was like $2,800 with nothing in it, no injectors, no harness. It was just going to be valve cover. And actually, I think ironically he had sold the oil pan already, and that was going to, he was like, yeah, $2,800 for that. And that was, I mean, that's my area, and that was Facebook Marketplace at the time. That's like 2 dirt bikes. That's 2 on the dirt bike standard. An engine with nothing else, 2 on the dirt bike standard. I still would have had to source turbos and whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to find 2 broke engines that are broke differently, because I know the M54 has 2 extreme problems. One of them is, you know, the bottom end, and the other one is timing. The timing failing. And I was like, I just need to find somebody who has a failed timing and a failed bottom end, and I should be okay. So I found both. So I did find a failed bottom end block, and it turned out to be so bad, I actually had a crack running all through the side of the block, which I couldn't see at the time, but I did get it for like $200. So it did give me a head, 5 out of 6 pistons, because that bad boy was torn in half. That's how bad that piston was. And I'm back. Hopefully I remember that also, I'll probably double it up. So I was uploading consistently, I think. And I was learning the editing game, which I think is important. One day maybe I'll hire that for somebody, because it is definitely not my cup of tea. But during the, I'm gonna call it the January till, I'm gonna say January to May part. In my January to May period, I actually got plenty done. I was able to tear down the block completely. I plasti gauged and cleaned up every piston. there's a video about parts of that. I mean, I have content coming out, but it turned into things where I saw this more as a educational channel and less of a vlog. Because alright, I'm gonna be real with you. I've seen enough people who have swapped those vehicles, swapped an M54 into something, and there seems to be gaps. I'm gonna use the word gaps because it seems like a lot of them are leaving out shit and maybe even to profit on other ends. Allegedly. I think that's stupid, but you do you, big guy. But anyways, so I had things like the I even put piston rings on it and started reassembling the block only to discover that the crankshaft and me, we're just not seeing each other that great. And she would like to see a machinist, mostly because apparently crank journal number 5 is a little out of round and I want that fixed. Because I mean, if it's apart, do it right. Now that I have to take that apart, I'm contemplating like maybe I should do something about a pinned crank hub. And I'm wondering if I can make my own. Because I mean, I feel like that's just something you can do. I mean, I just gotta make a jig that I can use on a drill press that holds it in place, and then just drill 2 holes on and use those pins as guide. I'll figure it out. But I think I tore down the cylinder head. I tore down the one from that was bad timing that came with the block, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna check these valves out. And I don't think it had bad timing. I think he was listening to more something along. I think he had more crankshaft issues. Cylinder 5 seems to be the one that gives. And I think that he had timing problems because it just wouldn't run. I don't know what the deal was, and I'm not here to check or chastise, but I said, you know what? I checked every one of the valves. So far they check out. I'm looking at new valves anyways because I have them out, but I am going to do a valve clean. Maybe I'll lap them in. I don't know. We'll have to see. And I decided since had that thing out, I'm going to port the exhaust side for sure, and I'm probably going to port the intake side a little bit, and I'll have a video on the why on that. And trust me, I know every old guy who watches this video is probably going to just cringe themselves so hard they basically have an aneurysm, but there is a method to my madness, and it's to help prevent buildup on the valves, which, you know, it's going to work with a system of things that I intend to install when I put that engine in the car. Speaking of putting the engine in the car, the old engine's still in the fucking car. The old engine's still in the car. And that's there because I have to be able to move this thing around. And basically, at the end of, basically come June, a road crew basically had to replace all the water lines, all of the water mains in the area 4 times. So effectively from June to like September, the road was basically, you couldn't park cars on the street, and if I can't do that, I can't like move the car out of the garage, which kind of leaves out, my garage isn't super huge. It says 2 car, but it's really more like 1.5, and it's got things like a 4-wheeler and a lawnmower in there. Don't worry, I'm hoping to build a home for the lawnmower this spring, so I can just have the garage to myself, and hopefully that home also fits the 4-wheeler. So anyways, I took a break. I was like, you know what, I can't really do much anyways, so I basically was like, just find some old content you did finish, and that was like, well, I started reassembling the engine, and it got so far on that, and I had to take it all back apart because I think I have to take the crank out. And now I'm looking for a crankshaft because my original crankshaft guy stopped doing the business altogether. He just got old. It happens. It's harder to find crankshaft guys anymore. So anyways, about September rolls around when that crew starts, you know, getting its life together and going out. I mean, municipal workers, government workers, does not get me started. And they finally are able to leave, and I can use the shoulder of the road. I don't live on a major highway road, but I couldn't use it because they had to like divert traffic through us until they were done. Then they had to use that to park their equipment. So it was just one of those things. But basically, right about before that happened, I started to have weird stuff happen in my house. Basically, you know, the light started flickering, and it turned into me being like, oh, the dryer is bad because it would only happen when the dryer turned on. And then it would do stuff like it would knock out the living room. The living room would just die off when you turn on the garbage disposal, and I was having all these fun problems, and I was having like random brownouts. I was like, okay. And then I thought the random brownouts were crap in my garage, so I shut everything out in there. Everything. I was like, all right, nothing in here for 2 weeks. Only determined that wasn't it, and then after some searching and some deals and stuff, I ended up figuring out I had a bad main service, electrical service, and I ended up taking that and having to redo that. And oh boy, is that tough and expensive. Let me be real here. Copper wire is almost a scam. Like, my house has now become slightly warmer on the meth head detection level. I live in Southeast Michigan. Meth heads are a real freaking thing. But like, that's where I'm at. Like, you're gonna hear that just bugged out. I still have PTSD now. Anytime a light flickers anywhere, like it happens in a TV show, I'm like, what the hell? But moving on, that's not important. We also had that weird thing where I was trying to do Porsche calipers on my E46, and I didn't have a Porsche to pull the set from, so I ended up trying to buy them off of eBay, only to go through like people who just deal in only Porsche parts, because I felt that those people would have the right kind of expertise to be able to look at a number that's on the part and send it to me. So I got one. I was looking for a pair of fronts. I got one left rear, one right rear, one to some kind of SUV, and like I went through 5 brake calipers before they got me the right one, which just delayed that. And then I was waiting on rotors, which must be coming from the moon, because they were like, yeah, it's gonna be like 4 to 6 weeks, which, I mean, they're CSL rotors, so I get that, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, that's 4 to 6 weeks, my guy. That is a long time. But I said, you know what? I gotta work on the hub knuckles anyway, so I was like, you know, whatever. But by the time that all was supposed to show up, the lights had started to go wild, so basically I stopped everything because I was afraid something in my house expensive had broke, and I was right, so I wasn't spending any more money on the car, which is what you do when you're being a responsible adult. It's not fun. I want to be a kid again. I just want to play with my cars. So anyways, I had to get 60 feet of heavy-duty copper wire and rerun that stuff because it was the wrong shit in the house for what is considered where my power is. And they were like, yeah, this is like technically barely cutting it back in the 90s. And I had just been rocking that, slowly turning into a fire hazard under my house. Fun. Anywho, this all culminated by the time I got that done. Jaguar had done its weird marketing thing, and that was about the only video I actually got out because it required nothing from the garage. I could sit there and record on this mic, which I'm only using now because it feels like I have to do something. I got that Ricky Bobby syndrome.
I'm not sure what to do with my hand.
And this keeps my hands busy. Like, I don't know, it seems to keep it there. Oh, but some minor things. My wife has been being so nice as to help me out with thumbnails. You'll actually see the thumbnail on this video looks way different. Like, I actually have them now, and I'm all about it. So that should be a reoccurring thing, some little production value improvements. I did gain 1 organic subscriber. The other 8 of you are family. I know who you are. I love you all. You know what? New guy, love you too. I hope you're here for what you're looking for. My next video is going to be probably me doing this kind of format thing again, but I'm going to explain to you the whole process I'm going through and whether or not that is actually going to work on how to put the N54 into an E46. I'm going to use the term seamlessly, but I'm fairly certain it's going to be anything but. That's just where I'm at, and I'm looking forward to what I can do in 2025. I have way more parts that all had arrived while I was busy dealing with how my crisis. Is crisis plural and singular? Let me know in the comments. Anywho, this is Car Guy, and I'm looking forward to getting this, at least putting the N54 in the E46 before the end of 2025. I'll be safe out there. Till next time.